So yeah, here I am. I'm just kind of smiling and giggling because there's so many disruptions and noises that are going on around me today. The garbage truck just came by. Kaya, the half dog, half wolf upstairs, is howling. A plane's going by. A phone just rang as I started to do this video. And it's just a funny symbolism of the reflection of the mind. I wanted to talk about mantra meditation today, and I realized the aspect of why we do it. The mind, let's just face it, the mind, we are crazy in the mind. The mind is absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane. All of the things that go on in a day, all the things that we think about, how much of those things are actually true, beneficial for us, serving us for a positive journey? How many thoughts do you actually think in a day? Do I actually think in a day? Do we actually think in a day that serve us, that actually serve us for a higher possibility, probability for a destiny in our life that we would like to embody? My bet is not many. We have to consciously focus again and again and again on the positive just to create a little sliver of positive reflection in the mind. You know, we hear all these things about all the things that we think is what we create. But thank God it's not, because if it was, think about how many things you have crossed the mind in a day and you actually feed energy to it. If all of those things were created, would your life be better or worse? I think I know the answer, because I know if I even track through my mind through a day and if I feed all of the thoughts that come through or take ownership of all of those thoughts, not a positive outcome. I heard a study recently that was rather profound. It was speaking of all of the stressful things that you think of in a day, all of the negative thoughts. Only 8% of them actually come to fruition, which means 92% of those thoughts that we put energy towards, that we stress about, actually never happen. Think about that. 92% of the things we worry about don't even happen. They don't even happen. And here we are thinking, stressing, worrying about things that are never going to happen in the first place. So this is the topic today, mantra or bust. It's mantra meditation. How to use a mantra to benefit, to positively benefit your life. So there's different ways of using mantras. I'm just pulling off a mala. This is one way to connect into a mantra or use a mantra to recite it. But a mantra is simply a phrase of words that have a positive connotation that is also an attractor of grace or of power. So typically you find a mantra in the Sanskrit form, which according to some of the wisdom teachers that I've spent time with, they say the inflections of the Sanskrit words actually attract the power. So if you translate it into another language, it's not going to have the same power. But sometimes we need to start with a mantra that's simply, I am love, or I am love and peace, I am love and peace. And you just repeat that constantly. I am love, I am peace, I am love, I am peace. That's one way to do mantra. It's more than just a positive affirmation. It's an energy of choosing to live and embody and attract that into your life. To actually not just attract it, but to remember it within yourself. Mantra as well is a tool to assist us to focus on something positive. So rather than focusing on all of these arrays of different negative thoughts, to actually focus our energy on a positive energy. So a Sanskrit mantra, a simple one, Om Namah Shivaya. Rather than going into the meanings, or let's just say Om Shanti, is a simple one to start with. You can do Om Shanti, Om Shanti Om on a mala, Om Shanti Om, Om Shanti Om, Om Shanti Om. So you go across each mala 108 times till you get to the other side. And this would become one mala of the mantra Om Shanti Om. And then you cycle back. Instead of going across the guru bead, you cycle back the other way. And you repeat the mantra Om Shanti Om. So the significance of 108, it tends to be in the Eastern traditions, 9 is a power number, a number of grace, a number of enlightenment. So 108 adds up to the number 9 if you just add 1 plus 0 plus 8 is 9. So mantras through the mala is one way to start to use the words to have a positive intention. So as I'm kind of going through this, I'm seeing that I'm getting a little sidetracked. So why to use mantra? To help focus your intention on something positive, and then to attract energy or power towards that mantra. So the mantra that you use is going to have meaning. So depending on which mantra you choose a mantra either connected to a deity or having a specific meaning that attracts that energy. And so then when you repeat it, you don't have to think of the words, you just repeat the words, and that inflection of those tones attracts that energy. And as my teacher would say, using a mantra is an attractor of grace, is an attractor of the Godness, the goodness within us and all around us, that is positivity, is placing your thoughts on God rather than on all of the muck. That is God too, but focusing on the fears and the negative energies. This is focusing on the positives of the goodness within us. So one way to use that is through a mala. So you just repeat the mantra. Another way to use mantra is it's a focusing of the mind, a focusing of the words, a focusing of the breath or the movements to that mantra. So you can walk with the mantra. You can go Om Shanti. So you walk with 2 words. Om on one step, Shanti on the other. Om Shanti. So then the mind is focused on that rather than spinning. Even though you're walking, often the mind is thinking about something else and not present with what's there. So if you focus the mind on a mantra, you're focusing on something positive and you're walking with it. Or you breathe with the mantra. It's a Om on the inhale, Shanti on the exhale. Inhale Om, exhale Shanti. So this is a way to move in the world with a positive energy that you're attracting in, that you're calling in. Then there's a way to use mantra to really focus the mind for meditation. So you can sit and be still, and then you focus internally, inhale Om, exhale Shanti. And you just go back and forth with the breath, focusing on that mantra. What I do is I actually inhale Om, exhale Shanti, and I count the mantras. I count all the way to 108. So inhale Om, exhale Shanti 1, inhale Om, exhale Shanti 2, and I go all the way. Now if I forget my count, then I start over. So it has some consequence if I forget my count. So then that focuses the mind, and it helps focus and hone the focus rather than having thoughts here and here. You may still have some thoughts wandering someplace else, but you have part of your focus, if not all of your focus, ultimately on that mantra. And then once you're able to focus the energy on the mantra solely, inhale Om, exhale Shanti, then the mantra just either goes naturally, it's just a natural progression and it just continues without you doing anything, or it just falls away and you're in silence. You're in stillness, complete stillness of the mind. Another way is you do that same mantra depending on, there's also something called a yantra. So you can use a yantra and a mantra and they're connected. So for instance, this yantra is a form of Lakshmi, actually called Kamala. So you can use a mantra specifically connected to a yantra, and then what I'll do is I'll stare at the yantra right at the bindu, right at the center, and when I'm staring at it, I'll repeat the mantra. And my eyes focus and kind of go in and out of focus, into blur, into focus, out of focus, and the yantra will start to take life with the mantra. So this is another way to meditate and actually attract the grace of the mantra. So these are a few tools and ways to focus in on using mantra for meditation. The one last piece that I'll speak of, because it's just been so deeply ingrained in me, is you can get yantras or mantras, yantras as well, from a book. But you can get yantras and mantras from a book, yet when they're passed to you from a lineage, which is what I'm connected to as a lineage, it carries the grace of everybody who's used that mantra in the lineage before you. Specifically, my intention is always for spiritual growth with my mantras. So when I use, or almost always, sometimes I've used it to help people with healing of their bodies, of their minds, of near-death experiences, but still invoking what is best spiritually for them and me and all involved. Little sidetrack there. But anyway, so when you have a mantra passed on from a lineage, it comes through that lineage and is infused with the grace of the lineage. So the benefit of receiving it from a teacher or someone who is empowered to pass a mantra on holds an immense amount of grace, immense amount of power. It's not that you won't have power coming from a book. It'll just be a little different. When you're initiated into a lineage or given the mantra through lineage, it's going to multiply the effects. Yeah, I think that covers it. I imagine you'll have questions on this, and I'll be happy to share whatever I can. And we'll go from here. I hope this helps you along your journey, helps you focus on positive thoughts, and assists you in attracting in something that can really ignite and awaken that true master or phoenix within you. Blessings.